Imagine that you lived in this reality the way that you live in the non-physical reality. The larger you, your inner self, the most powerful expanded version. Well, that version of you is here in this reality. Why are you here? You're here to expand. You're here to explore. You're here as mavericks leading the way to a new approach to life, a new way of thinking. A way of thinking that is not obvious to most humans, a way of thinking that is counterintuitive, that goes against a lot of your thoughts about how this reality works. It's moving from the outside in. The outside, those conditions, those people that you believe are so real, that take up all your attention, that captivate your physical senses, from that outside condition that you would like to control or change in some way, perceiving yourself as a victim to those conditions, that those conditions can make you feel something, to an inner knowingness of your trueness, of your true identity, of your true being. That true being is unexplainable, unimaginable, but exists with a knowing and a deep connection to all that is and to infinite intelligence. That beingness, knowing what it knows in this reality, if it were here living your life, would live in a state of what you would call neutrality, even though you can't really imagine what that is. It would be detached from the illusion of separation and knowing it was one with all, that all others were there as one, playing their parts, playing their roles, exploring this reality in their own way, and moving from fear to love just as you are. But that would be dull. That'd be boring. That's not what you came for. There are other realities that you remember and you do not feel separate. And you've done that many times before. And now you've come into this earth reality, exploring this illusion and allowing the beingness that is you to move from the outside to the inside, to move from the not knowing to knowing, from fear to love, from the illusion to the truth, from separation to oneness. This is the most fun, interesting, exciting place to be. This time is the most fun, exciting, and interesting time to be here exploring this reality. There are far more things that you are able to do. There are far more energies coming in. There are far more concepts that you are willing to believe, allowing that belief structure to open up and expand to encompass the possibility that you could be the creator of your reality, that you could be one with all, that everything could be working out perfectly for you, that this life that you designed could be perfect right now, in the past, and in the future. That this linear way of thinking about things, of labeling things and perceiving time, is all part of this complex solution, and it is not really happening the way you think it is. The idea that you really want to know how things work, well, most of that is based in fear, based in the idea that if you knew, you could control. But what if you could not control? What if control was not necessary, was not something you actually wanted, was not beneficial in any way, was simply based in fear? What if many things that you think you want are the same sort of thing, all based in lack and limitation of some sort that you perceive that the outside conditions are imposing on you? What if there is no lack? What if there is no limitation? What if the only lack and limitation were concepts that you could not explore anywhere else? And as you explore the illusion of those things in this physical reality, you know true abundance and true freedom in a way that could not be known other than choosing to come here and experience the illusion for yourself. And many of you have chosen just to come here to experience that, just to come here to experience feelings that could not be felt any other way. You can't really feel lack the way you could perceive lack here. You can't really feel limitation the way you can feel it here. And when you return to the non physical, you'll understand what true freedom is, the true freedom of your soul, of your non physical inner self, of the abundance that is the basis of this reality. In the non physical, you know it, but you can't really feel it. You can't really understand it. You can't really comprehend it until you live within this illusion. And so you've come forth many times and you're playing with it and you're playing with these ideas of this outside condition impacting you in some way. And you have a perception that you can make yourself better. You can make outside conditions better. You can change things around so that you feel better. In those instances where you can't really control those outside conditions and you wish they were different than they are, you know that that is simply based in a belief system that's wrapped up in that illusion. Without that illusion, that belief system would not exist. It would make no sense whatsoever. And so this illusion is very powerful in that regard. It's very purposeful in that regard. And you've come to play it again and again and again. Well, those of you who are here on this call and those of you listening at a later date, somehow, some way, you're seeing through this illusion. You're seeing that what if you were the creator of your reality? What could you do? What could you become? What could you have? How could you be if you really could create your reality? And that concept is wrapped up in the illusion. It's another form of control, wishing that if I can get good at this creator thing, then I can create the life that I can imagine from this perspective. But what if it's never been about that? What if it's never really been about creating conditions or creating a version of yourself that feels better? What if it's about seeing the reality for what it is? Understanding this in a bigger picture over a longer term, realizing that there are people in your life who have come forward so that you can get where you are now. Without those people doing the things that they did, you would likely not be here. You would likely not open your belief system to the point that you could perceive possibly that you're the creator of your reality. All of that is working out perfectly. All of those people came at the right time in the right place and did the right things to get you where you are now. All the people that will ever come into your life will always be a mirror to this lack and limitation, to this illusion, because you will see them as other. But what if you could see them as an aspect of the whole, as one with you, as playing their role perfectly in every situation? So that you can expand and expand and expand. Expand your conscious awareness while you're existing in physical reality. What would that do for you? Think about the clarity that you would have after you have expanded to the point where the illusion is no longer captivating your attention, where your physical senses are not bouncing around and focusing on things that do not serve you. What if the fear subsided and you had clarity, you had access to infinite intelligence and to your inner self guides and supporters? It wouldn't really change a thing. As much as you wish it wouldn't really be anything different than it is now because you would be at a perspective, and that perspective would come with its expansion, with its manifestation events, with its unimaginable experiences, with its catching you up in the physicalness of physical reality, getting all caught up in that physical reality thing. You would simply be at a new level. Now, you would be able to look back and see how far you've come, how for most of it doesn't bother you or move your needle a bit. You'd be able to see how everything turned out so that you could be there now. But you couldn't see beyond that. You would simply perceive that this is as high as it gets. And you might not think about how much further you could go. Imagine that there's a scale of ascension from 0 to 100, 100 being how your inner self would operate in this reality, and where you are in your perspective now. Imagine that your perspective is one of the highest in the world among humans, that there is very few people who have ever reached a perspective where all of you are now. And that perspective, you could say, out of a scale of 0 to 100, might be a 5, which means that every point above that on the scale, every point of possibility is unimaginable at every stage. You could get to a 6, and 7 through 100 would be unimaginable to you. You could get to an 8, and you would think, certainly this is the highest perspective of anyone in the world. And there would be a manifestation event. There would be another person doing another thing. There would be something in the society around you, something going on. And you would say, how come I haven't mastered this yet? Because this is an eternal journey. From a human perspective, you'd say, if I could just get to the end of this journey, everything would feel great. Everything would be better. Everything would be how I want it to be. But from a non physical perspective, what you want is a never ending journey. If you're an eternal being, which you certainly are, there could not possibly be an ending to it. You wouldn't want it to end. So think about the differences from a non physical perspective, an eternal perspective, lifetime after lifetime after lifetime after lifetime after lifetime, on and on and on and on forever, infinite. This is what you would want would you had you been able to design a reality from the non-physical perspective. This is how physical and non-physical reality are. They are never ending because you're eternal. But from your finite human perspective, you want to arrive. You want to be done with it. You want it to be over. But we promise you, that is not who you are. And so, on this journey of self discovery, keep in mind that who you truly are is eternal. Who you truly are is abundant. Who you truly are is absolutely free. Who you truly are has no end. And compare that to who you think you are now, what you think you want now, what you are wishing and hoping and praying for now. Compare the two and choose to look at it from the highest perspective you can possibly believe. When you look at anything from the highest perspective you could possibly believe, the little things that are going on in this one lifetime make no difference whatsoever. It turns out it's not important. There's nothing important. When you look at it from the highest perspective, there's only one thing that really matters: fun, joy, connection, doing things in the moment, bringing it all into a ball in this one moment, and understanding there is nowhere to go, nothing to do, and no way you can fail. If you can see everything in your life from that perspective, nothing will really matter. And when nothing really matters, you're free. And with that, we'd like to talk to you about anything you'd like to talk about.